Hi, this is Kevin Smith of Smith Rogers Law Enforcement Legal Consultants and Attorneys at Law, the home of 24/7, real-time, around-the-clock, on-the-spot tactical legal advice for North Carolina law enforcement agencies. And as you may know, we specialize in the medium and smaller departments in North Carolina. The question is presented, Kevin, how does your firm's services save my department money? Well, in this current economic climate, that's a very timely question. Let's get right to it, shall we? Let's first agree that law enforcement is about one thing. It's about law. Any way you cut it, any way you look at it, everything in law enforcement comes down to law and a legal decision. Average legal decision making is okay, but expert law enforcement legal decision making around the clock in real time is infinitely better and saves money. Let's find out how. Number one, civil liability management and avoidance. Now, we can all agree that the law enforcement function is the single greatest liability exposure for any local government. Part of what my firm does is minimize those claims, those exposures. If you do the math, it's quickly apparent that one bad claim against the department and the cost of defending that, not to mention paying off a judgment, far exceeds what my firm charges in the way of an annual contract for services. A second way that my firm saves money is in training. Now, I want to invite your attention elsewhere on the website to a document entitled Sample Client Calls. Now, this one document at a glance provides the single best glimpse into what this firm does on an hourly basis, and you will see a broad range of legal subject matter that we help clients with every day. Now let's talk about training. Consider the training costs involved in keeping each one of your officers and supervisors fully apprised of each one of these legal subjects that are not only difficult in themselves, but of course the law is ever changing. Well, it would be an impossibility, of course. Now, conventional classroom law enforcement legal instruction is indispensable. Naturally, we're not seeking to replace that. But beyond the core subject matter that's available in a classroom setting, there are a myriad of legal problems that officers encounter each day that are not the subject of any classroom instruction. So again, what my firm brings to your department is expertise in a surgical, real-time, on-the-spot method that makes the officer the subject matter expert on the spot with any operational issue that may arise. So a great cost savings there. A third way that my firm saves your department money is simply in efficiency. And what we mean by that is that very often officers run into legal problems from day to day, from hour to hour, and the problem is, what do we do now? What do we do next? This is especially true in CID, for example, but in other specialized functions. It might be juvenile law, it might be the civil process section in the sheriff's office, but our job is to help the officer get a correct legal answer immediately so there's no time spent twiddling thumbs, having needless debates throughout the department about what to do and who heard what and what Sergeant Schmidt did back in 1947. No. Get the answer quickly and have your officer get back to work. That's efficiency of the personnel resources that you are already paying for. Now, a fourth way that my firm saves money is in correctly and successfully prosecuting the criminals the first time. If a criminal investigation requires 20 hours, 50 hours, 200 hours of officer personnel time, how disappointing it is when one arrives in court and finds out the evidence is inadmissible or the confession is inadmissible. Then all of that personnel time was for nothing. It was a tremendous waste. Not to mention the fact that the criminal goes free. He's foisted back on the community for the citizens to have to deal with this criminal again, resulting in more 911 calls, ultimately an arrest, and start the investigation over from scratch and cross your fingers for better results in court this time. No. It's a tremendous cost savings when the criminal is successfully prosecuted the first time around, so there is not so much redundancy in dealing with the same criminals over and over and multiple investigations where a single investigation could have put the criminal in jail and gotten the criminal out of the community. So there are four ways that we save your department money. Now, let me get back to civil liability for just a moment. One question that we often get is this: Kevin, if we retain your firm's services and we follow your legal advice, we end up getting sued anyway, are you coming to court to defend us? The answer is simple. No, we're not. And there's a good reason for that. If you pick up a phone book, you can find 100 law firms that are capable of going to court and handling litigation. That's not what we do. We used to be trial attorneys. Now we're specialists in this practice. So yes, you can find a law firm to defend you in court. In fact, your insurance company will hire that firm, and they will select that firm for you. What my firm does is so much more important. Well, first of all, we try to help you avoid a claim in the first place. But if you end up being sued, we're not going to be the trial lawyer. We're coming as your witness. We'll take the stand to testify that you retained our firm, called us for legal advice, and that we told the officer to do X, and the officer, in following our legal advice, acted reasonably. Now, one thing that everyone knows about police civil liability is the courts do not require the officer to be perfect. The courts don't require the officer to be correct in civil liability issues. The court simply requires the officer to be reasonable. And it's our position that if you retain our services and follow our advice, it's inconceivable that a court would find that the officer acted unreasonably in following legal advice. So there's your civil liability protection there in a nutshell. Now, I should add, we've been at this practice for 10 years. We've never had an agent, or that is an agency, sued based on following our legal advice. We've had a few clients who had the choice to follow our legal advice, did something differently, and ended up regretting that, but that's another issue. So we believe we bring a tremendous cost savings for the department. And let me add this. North Carolina's largest police agencies employ full-time in-house police counsel. Some of these departments have more than one full-time in-house police attorney. However, 85% of North Carolina police departments, at municipal only, serve jurisdictions of fewer than 10,000 citizens. Now, the fact is, the work the small police department is doing is the very same police work that the large departments do. The fact that a department serves a smaller jurisdiction doesn't mean you have easier legal issues to confront, or that that small department has less in the way of civil liability exposure. Part of what my firm tries to do for our agency departments is to help them have legal resources on a par with what North Carolina's largest agencies enjoy. If you have any further questions about my firm's role in saving a department money and helping officers, supervisors, commanders with difficult tactical legal decisions, please give us a call. My main office number, 336-691-7058, and I look forward to the opportunity to speak with you and to the opportunity for my firm to provide your department with up-to-date, on-the-spot tactical legal advice. Thank you very much.